Hi, I'm Gustavo Malcolms, and today I'm going to talk about our paper Beyond the Pareto Efficient Frontier, Constraint Active Search for Multi-Objective Experimental Design. This is a joint work with fellow SigOpt research team members, Harvey Chen, Eric Lee, and Michael McCord. The motivation for this work comes from material science, a field where scientists and engineers are actively searching for new materials that can improve human life. In particular, we want to build decision-making tools to help the development of fabrication strategies for high-performing glass, which may be used to improve the performance of solar panels and help reduce the power required for cell phones to operate. Let's illustrate some of the challenges that we face in this project with a simple example. In many situations, we have multiple competitive objectives that we care about. Here we show a problem with two metrics, where optimizing one hurts the other one. There are also practical constraints on each of these metrics. For example, we want both metrics to be at least 80% effective. In practice, we implement this setting with constraints on the objective functions. We also have a limited budget. Ultimately, experimentation is costly, and we don't want to waste observations that do not satisfy the constraints. To tackle these problems, we thought about using intelligent optimization strategies, such as Bayesian optimization. Here, we have a multi-objective problem, which is usually solved by searching for the Pareto efficient points. In our example, we show 4 points that lie exactly on the Pareto efficient frontier for this problem. To facilitate the illustration, let's overlay both metrics. This also highlights that we are searching for designs in the input space. It turns out that if we present this optimal solution to material scientists, they will often ask for suboptimal configurations. They would ask, why haven't you selected this point, or this one, or this one? But clearly, all the Pareto efficient points are in this line. The problem is, that's only true during development. In this picture, we can see the difference between the CAD model underlying the simulation and the actual result produced from the fabrication. More generally, in many applications, what we get during development won't be a perfect match of our results during production. Maybe due to precision limitations of our equipment, as we saw in the last picture, maybe there is a covariate shift, or a model mismatch between the development and the production scenario. This implies that we should search for designs which perform consistently despite such differences, and that was our motivation for defining a new problem formulation. Before talking about our formulation, what about level set estimation? Here, the goal is to find points on the decision boundary. Unfortunately, we expect scientists to be highly risk-averse, and if we don't sample configurations that meet the constraints, they will not trust our results. That's why we developed this new formulation that focuses on sampling points that satisfy the constraints. We call this formulation Constraint Active Search. Instead of performing multi-objective optimization, we solve a search problem, where we seek to find configurations inside the satisfactory region. Constraint Active Search can be seen as a generalization of experimental design, when we set the constraints to be very low, or a generalization of Bayesian optimization, if we set the constraints to be very high. To solve this problem, we propose an algorithm called Expected Coverage Improvement, where we search for points that cover the satisfactory region, giving a resolution parameter R. ECI is a one-step Bayesian optimal policy that covers the set S. Let's illustrate this with a more interesting example. Suppose you want to cover the set S in this example. 3 observations were selected, and you want to evaluate the benefit of a new candidate point. Given the resolution parameter, each observation induces a coverage area of the input space. ECI estimates the additional coverage increase given by the new point, the blue-gray area in this picture. Since we don't know S a priori, we compute the area across different realizations of S. Our policy always selects the point with the highest expected increase in coverage, breaking ties by selecting the furthest observation from the selected points. In our experiments, we evaluate several baselines according to multiple criteria. Field distance, which measures the diversity of our sampled points. Hypervolume, which is a standard optimization criterion. Number of positive points, how many samples meet the constraints. Coverage recall, which is the area induced by our sampled points. Finally, we also did many experiments across multiple domains. Here we show the results of the additive manufacturing example, which is a fair representation of what you should expect from these methodologies. Our method, ECI, excels at finding diverse configurations that meet our constraints. This can be seen by the excellent performance on coverage recall and field distance. As expected, Bayesian optimization consistently improves the hypervolume, but isn't as effective at finding diverse configurations. In the same way, active search, which greedily maximizes the number of positive points, performs best at this metric, but the samples are not diverse. Feel free to pause the video here to learn more about the baselines. Finally, we provide a summary of the main contributions of our paper. Please check out the full version for more details. Thank you very much.